And welcome back to the bonus episode of Only Stupid Answers exclusively on that was real.
Good
sorry.
job. Yeah,
on
good job.
Patreon.
Yeah.
This is if you contributed $5 or more, you get access to this. These are interviews, maybe some reviews of some superhero TV shows or more.
Yeah. Don't tell the people that don't contribute, but I feel like some of our best stuff is on. Or maybe do tell the people that don't contribute so they contribute. I feel like
they should come and join us.
Yeah.
They should come and listen. And this day,
yes,
this episode's coming out.
Today's the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
High five!
Damn, that was solid.
That flew right out of you.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a special interview with a very special boy.
What are you talking about?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready for this? Bomb's about to drop. Mr. James Allen McCune.
Yay!
Is in the studio.
That is a dropped bottom, 100%.
How are you?
Is it a boo? Boo. The audience is very excited. They're shaking in their chains.
I'm not sure it's because of me they're shaking.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's probably because of the nudity and unrelenting cold.
Not enough vitamin D.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
No, it's not.
You deserve what you get.
They're riled
I
up.
hope your neighbors are like,
what is happening? For the people at home, who are you? What's your deal?
That's a much bigger question than it seems like you thought it was.
What are you?
When I wake up in the mornings and stare at the mirror.
Who are you?
What do you do?
What are you? What's wrong with you? Yeah. No, I am on my good days an actor from good old Atlanta, Georgia. And you might know me from such things as Shameless or Blair Witch or apparently Steven Suptick's YouTube channel at this point. That's mostly me.
Yeah, very cool. So what got you out of Atlanta? What was Atlanta like, first off?
Oh, I grew up in Noonan, Georgia, which is
just even more famous than Atlanta. I don't know why you brought up Atlanta.
Well, it's actually getting up there because that's the same town they shoot The Walking Dead in.
Oh, very cool.
So you were just hanging out and they just picked you up off the street.
You have no idea how lucky I got when I booked that show, because I grew up in like the same house until I moved out here in my early 20s, and it was. The story with that still is weird. I don't seem to get roles unless it's like by accident. Like nobody intentionally gives me a part.
I'm sure a lot of actors feel that way.
Oops, sorry, I just kicked the table.
Please do.
But yeah,
it deserves it.
You deserve what you get. But I was a humongo fan of the first season, and I was hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, who just suggested like, oh, you should email your agent and see if he can get you a part on that show. That's not how that works. But I was like, okay, I'll humor you, and I emailed my agent. I was like, hey, big fan of the show. If you ever hear of anything fun, I would love to at least audition for it, whatever. And he was like, we're actually reading for this role right now, and if you can make it up to Atlanta in the next 30 minutes, it's a 45-minute drive. We will hopefully sneak your tape in because they've already said no to you.
What?
Yeah, because they look through when agents get breakdowns for roles. Agents or when they'll submit people they think that are right for it, and the studio goes through it and they're like, no, yes, no, and so they had already seen my face and said no. Nice. And so he was like, we'll see if they notice that they already turned you down. And
I bet they did.
I busted ass up to Atlanta, and 3 weeks later got a phone call that I had booked it off the tape somehow. It was super weird. Very cool. Very strange. But yeah, that was super strange that like that happened, that it also filmed like right next door, and yeah, that was a super goofy situation.
That's pretty cool,
amazing.
though.
So
lie is what you're saying.
It's the secret. It's the secret.
Deceive.
Did you always want to be an actor?
No. It's weird because I kind of grew up very passively. I don't think I feel crappy because most of my friends and family all kind of had like a mission when they were kids. They were actively pursuing something since birth. And I don't know. My mom had a weird childhood and always just wanted to be able to enjoy being, and I think that she raised me in with just be happy, just be comfortable, and enjoy yourself right now. And so I was very lucky that I got to be raised that way, because it made
beautiful.
me, it made me really appreciate just kind of hanging out. And I was very, very unbelievably lucky that I got to do that for the most part. But I never had any sort of like, I'm going to be this when I grow up mentality, which I think in a lot of ways was a really great thing, because it made me kind of, really enjoy myself as a child. I kind of got into acting on accident again, just because I had in high school I had nothing going for me. I was just this like chubby weird white kid that didn't do anything worthwhile, and so I just needed a class and got into that, and it was the first time people had complimented me on being good at something.
That's fair. That's a good feeling to chase. Like, hey, this is the one time people compliment myself. Maybe this is the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is my moment.
When I never really thought about it until I met someone who had planned to make that their career, and I was like, oh, you can do that? That's your thing. Yeah, I started doing theater in Atlanta, and mostly musical theater and stuff, and
Favorite play or favorite musical?
Oh my god,
that you were in,
that I was in.
Yeah, so narrow it down a little bit. Unless the favorite all time,
I did. My favorite one that I was in was Rent. That was like
that's a good one. I
was
of course
Roger in Atlanta, and that was a dream. That was a bucket list role.
That's cool.
That was super cool. Yeah. Favorite musical total? It's hard because it changes all the time. But lately, it's been Dear Evan Hansen.
I don't know what's that one.
Whoa, so good.
Ooh.
Ben Platt, who is Evan Hansen in the show, he's got to get the Tony. He's so good. That show is amazing. It's kind of following a socially awkward kid who is trying to get through life on a lie, basically. That's all I'm going to say, because it's a really interesting plot, and if anyone can go see it, you need to, because it's so good.
Very cool.
I've intentionally not listened to any of the music from Hamilton because I want to see it live. I know it's going to be like a year or two.
I really want to see it too.
And Book of Mormon's coming too to Pantages, so I'm like,
God.
I think I can get Book of Mormon tickets years before I'm going to get Hamilton tickets.
Have you ever seen Book of Mormon?
I have, but I need to see it again. I need to see it again. It was magical the first time.
That's such a good show. I saw it on. I saw the original cast actually.
Really?
Yeah, we were in the very
So Josh
back.
Gad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
was very lucky. I remember we like heard of it and bought the tickets, and it was like 9 months before we could actually go see it.
A friend of the show, Josh Gad, who's a Patreon contributor. Yeah.
All right.
He pays the big bucks every month. It's very nice of him.
Yeah, he's part of our Google chat.
Josh, good job on the Beauty and the Beast movie, the little thing you did.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
That's very cool. I saw In the Heights, and I saw the Addams Family musical. Apparently, there's an Addams Family musical. Not surprising. It wasn't very good, but Nathan Lane played the dad in the Addams Family, and it was awesome. And they also, he was. Oh, it was like cause hearing his voice, I'm like, I hear Lion King. I'm like, this is really cool. Also like Birdcage and a bunch of other movies we watch as kids. That's not a kid's movie, but I would watch it as a kid. What was I gonna say? In the Heights was magical because it's Lin-Manuel Miranda before he did Hamilton, or he was writing Hamilton during In the Heights.
Did you actually see it with Lin-Manuel Miranda?
No, actually. Corbin Bleu was playing his part, and a lot of the main cast was still there. And I was like, Corbin Bleu, let's see. Fucking nailed it. It was really...
Good for him that he's still doing stuff. That's the High School Musical kid, right?
Yeah, he's the kid jumping doing the splits.
Yeah.
With curly hair. There's this song, the little vignettes in the Heights, it's so... it gets a lot of criticism. Have you ever heard the music from In the Heights?
Who's criticizing?
In the Heights,
In the Heights, huh?
What's to criticize?
Because it's just like a lot of small stories and no like real plot to it. The story, they say they don't like it because the music was written before the story was written. Like,
I can see that.
And I know it's theater people that are complaining about it. And and if you don't like it, whatever. I think the musical is amazing.
Yeah.
And when they got to the song about the father, it's called Inutil. He's talking about like working on the sugarcane plantations and how his dad, like how he felt with his relationship with his dad, and his relationship with his daughter, about feeling useless and like being able to help her go to school. And it's just like, oh man, every time I hear it, it like really digs down deep. And I had never heard the finale song of the album because I had listened to my show choir when I went to high school, like did like the whole, like we didn't perform it, we just sang all the music from it. But I never heard the finale. When I heard the finale, I was like, I remember my like heart was like overflowing with joy, and I started crying out of joy. I was like, this is the best shit I'm ever gonna see live. It's so cool. So I can't wait to see Hamilton because I want that feeling. Like I want to feel all that for the first time.
That's how I was with Next to Normal. That's one of
I remember Next to Normal when everyone loved that.
I sob like a little baby every time I see the end of that show. Oh my god, it's
know what
so
you guys are
good.
talking about.
Tell with Next to Normal with a little synopsis.
Next to Normal, I'm hesitant to tell the whole thing just because even the log lines for some of these can spoil stuff. But that show basically just follows a family who's who the mother is suffering from severe mental illness issues, and boy is it heavy. Oh my god! But my family we have a lot of like mental issues in our family line, and I have a lot of friends and stuff too. So it's like it hit that piece of me that like you don't want to talk about out loud. At least I didn't at the time. So it was like when I saw it, I was miserably like bent over sobbing the whole time.
Yeah.
For me, that was like, because similar things with my family, Silver Linings Playbook, seeing Bradley Cooper's portrayal of his like mental disorder was very similar to somebody else in my family, and just like watching that was like, it was like a little tough. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Didn't need to go to the bathroom. I was just like, I can't actually watch this right now, because I'm like, it's way too on point. Like everything Jennifer Lawrence, when she would freak out, and like when Bradley Cooper would freak out and like throw the book out the window, and I'm like, man, I've been here. I've been in this. And I like, and Robert De Niro's character, I'm like, that person is very familiar to me. I know that kind of behavior. So by the end of it, when it's all fixed, I'm like, that's not how it works. But I know it's a movie, so we'll go ahead and be positive. And like, it's hope. But like, I remember, similar thing with Next to Normal and Silver Lining Playbook.
Yeah, that's important. That's what I love about this medium. It's like, because there's a lot of political bullshit, and everyone gets all up in arms about the industry, in quotes, whatever. But like that, at the root of it, that's what is so important, is that connection to just stuff that's way too real. That's important. I love that.
So what's your favorite role? If you had to pick one role that you've done, pick one. Like it's like a kid. Pick one that you love. Screw the others.
My favorite thing that I've done so far. Well, actually, we made a movie of our own. It was a little short film we did for a festival, and that is got to be one of my favorite things that I've done. It was a film. It's actually on YouTube, on the Bad and Classic YouTube channel. It's a movie called Don't Knock the Hustle. And cool. I played.
Is it recent?
Yes, it was last year, and it was some of my favorite stuff that I've done. But other than that, there was something that it hasn't even come out yet that I'm very proud of, and I'm curious if it's going to. I have no idea. It was for, I can't say what it is, but it was for a video game, which was a dream come true, just in concept. Like just the idea of being in a video game was unbelievably exciting, but like the character was so different from stuff that I've done in film and TV, which is very special.
Because you're a big Legend of Zelda fan.
Humongo. And if you hear I'm sorry. I meant to apologize for the rant I went on.
No, that wasn't the rant. So, by the way, I don't know if the other episode, we have a normal episode with, it's a behind the scenes.
Yeah,
that's what you get when you pay for it.
Exactly.
So we talked about, or James pitched his Legend of Zelda movie without Link.
There's 3 Legend of Zelda movies in there, basically.
Yeah. Hey, I'm down for it. But no, you were. I remember when you visited SourceFed Nerd, it was like a lot of people connected with you with the Legend of Zelda fandom.
Yeah, I'm a humongous dork, so I was trying to play it real cool being at the SourceFed offices, because I was a big fan. You guys helped me get through Blair Witch.
Really?
Because I needed to unwind, and I would watch the original Blair Witch at before bed every night, and then I would put you guys on when I was like getting ready in the mornings, or when I was like, I would watch The Flash in the tub, and then like when I would do some like paperwork and stuff, and I would watch you guys in the background. So you guys were very influential for like cheering me up during that period. So I was out of my mind excited when I came over.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Philip Molina. You said that up.
Oh yeah. I love that guy.
You good boy.
So I was going to ask about video. You brought up video games. I remember remember when I was in high school, I wanted to make video games because I love them, but I wanted to like write the stories and maybe come up with a level, the fun stuff that everybody wants to do. And then I was informed, or I discovered, that to do that, you also have to be like the programmer. Like at the time, they didn't just outsource that shit. Like, and it was like, ooh, math, no thank you, bye-bye.
A lot of math.
Yeah.
I was actually going to do that before I got into this. I was going to do graphic arts and 3D modeling and stuff. I got accepted to SCAD University in Atlanta, and I was going to do that. And it was like the summer of 2009 that everything switched for me. So there, in an alternate universe, I'm doing that. I'm like making video games.
And then I want to make friends with you and make a video game with you and have you do all the hard shit, and I get to do all the fun shit.
But yeah, I actually got to hang out with, because my co-star in Blair Witch, Brandon Scott, who just got a new show. What's the name of his show? Did you see that? I want to pitch. I want to like, what's it?
It's something with creepy.
I have no idea, but it's going to be huge, and I'm so proud of him. He's got like the lead in this new sci-fi show. I want to like advertise it. But he was in Uncharted and The Last of Us, and so he worked with Neil, who directed those games, and I got to like I must have been the most obnoxious person, because he took us into Naughty Dog and gave us a tour, and I got like my copy of Uncharted 4 is from Neil himself.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, but
Dark web.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
sorry, I just did a quick Google.
Yeah.
But that I was pulling his ears like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you write a book that big in order to make it? Like, that's an amazing amount of work.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated with video game directors.
Naughty Dog, didn't they start with Jack and Daxter?
Yeah.
They've come a long way.
Or they started with Crash Bandicoot, I think, before, right?
They've come a long way.
Yeah, it was cool to see in the studios. They have like all these old statues and stuff from like way back, and
that's funny.
A bunch of it's just awesome.
Now it's Uncharted and the Logan movie based off Last of Us.
Yeah, I was gonna say
bit.
that's as much of a Last of Us movie as we need. That's fine.
Again, well, we talked about this a little bit on the episode that's probably going to come up after this. That it's tough to make a video game movie because video games are so cinematic now, and you get so much more story than like you play the Mass Effect games. That's basically an entire season. One of the Mass Effect games is an entire season of a show.
Yeah, so how could you make a movie out of that?
Yeah.
I remember that I really liked Warcraft, even though I know that was like I don't think it did well. I don't think there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
But I thought Duncan Jones did a really good job. I've never played World of Warcraft. I know like you have the Horde and like whoever the good guys are. I don't remember. But the look of the orcs, of the trolls, orcs, something, whatever. Just the look of them and the story they had with them, and how much heart and like humanity these characters had. Toby Kebbell acted the shit out of that role. It was amazing, and I think that's my favorite video game adaptation, like to a movie. I think that's the only one that like nailed it.
Yeah, what are some good? Are there? Oh, man, are there
I
any?
remember at the time being a fan of the Prince of Persia film, which I know is not anyone's favorite.
I have not seen it. I wanted to at the time, but I heard not good things, so I didn't.
I was younger when I saw it, so I don't know if I would nowadays. See, this is what I'm talking about. When I was a kid, I had no critical eye for things. I was just like be bopping around and enjoying everything.
Yeah.
And so when I watched that movie, I was like, oh, cool. I love that game. This is a fun movie. That works. But now I'm so critical of things.
Yep.
I'm looking at everything so conceptually and I'm just trying to, it kind of sucks.
We talked a little bit about that too. My first moment of realizing that like, oh, this isn't good. Like realizing that movies could be bad was Batman, back to back Batman and Robin, and then Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, like a movie that you're really excited about, and you're so young that you don't know,
right?
But like coming out of the theater and like, I don't think that was good.
Yeah. I think I had the same experience where I was just like, I don't know, but it was a Star Wars too. It was the second one.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones, and it's like
one of the worst movies.
I've seen all three of those prequels. I saw all three of those prequels in theaters.
Same.
And then 3's the one that you defend because comparatively not as bad.
No. But
it has moments that are fun. Okay.
Fun fact: did you ever look into like weird edits that George Lucas does to Hayden Christensen's face?
No.
So they shoot a lot on green screen, and sometimes they'll like what? Yeah, and sometimes they'll be like, well, we like. And if two people are on the green screen, like kind of like when he and the Emperor, like they're kind of like you're getting a side shot of both of them, they'll like how the Emperor is saying it here, but they don't like how Aiden Christensen looks or like the next line how he delivers it. So they'll do like like those morph pictures you see. They morph like his face into it, like
so
you don't see it when
dumb.
you're watching, but someone points it out, and now like
You just can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's just like they morph his face into the line that they want him to say.
Wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio at one point asked to be Anakin?
That makes sense because the kid looked just fucking like.
Yeah.
would that have made it? It wouldn't have fixed them, but that would have made it better, right?
Yeah,
I think he would
don't
have
know.
spoken up more about some of the
I
dialogue.
think so too.
And also would have like not been as weird that like that little 10-year-old's flirting with that 18-year-old girl, and we're supposed to buy this as
And
the
then
like.
he ages really fast above her.
And by the way, why'd they kill Darth Maul?
Darth Maul was the coolest
He's
villain.
so cool.
They
They
fixed it in
fucked
the
it all the way
animated series. By the way, Lara Croft is the best video game adaptation.
I've never seen the Lara Croft movies.
You won't like it then.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of not just like they're not good, but I'm a proponent of the Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh.
As fun.
Those are fun.
As fun, especially like B movie, like
Yeah.
right? And then the Street Fighter movie is a lot of fun if you're watching
I
with
never saw 'em.
friends and willing to. Not Legend of Chun-Li. I hear that's just bad. The original Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme is fun bad.
Okay.
And also, I don't hate the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh no, I liked it.
It's
as
not a
kid.
good Mario Brothers
No.
movie, but it's a fun movie. It's like Blade Runner for kids.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And on that level, I'm into it. Like it's cool. Like I remember that cliffhanger where Princess Daisy comes with the gun, like we need your help, and I wanted that sequel, man.
For sure, dude.
I still want. Apparently, they made a web comic that is a follow up to what would have happened after
crazy.
That sounds okay. So I don't like that. I didn't like the movie as a kid only because of the Goombas. I thought they were very scary,
they
and I
looked
was
really
like,
creepy.
I'm like,
that.
I don't get it.
That movie is very scary for a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
And like the Mushroom Kingdom, the whole idea that like
It's a nightmare.
this weird acid idea of like mushrooms, it's so fucking fungus everywhere. It's like, yikes! No, it's not.
fucked
That's
up.
not what it is.
So you have your Legend of Zelda pitch. Let's
Yeah.
not spoil here. You guys are gonna have to tune into the other episode to check that out. What is a video game that would make a good movie?
I think I'm
That's
sorry
tough because there's a lot of no. I'm just saying there's a lot of video games that feel like good potential, like Assassin's Creed. But oh boy, did that get
God.
Michael
So
Fassbender.
frustrated. How did he produced it? He'll produce it too. What the
But
fuck
he
happened?
didn't edit it though, and that
No.
editing is rough.
Did you watch it?
Well, I watched the edited part. I watched the fight scene where it's cutting between him with the Animus and going into the old times, but it's you cannot figure out what's happening to him.
Interesting.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. But how about you? Video game.
I think the Uncharted movies have a good potential, and they're being made into movies starring
Spider-Man, Tom
Yeah,
Holland,
Tom Holland.
as young. I feel like that's an interesting choice.
That was the
about, like,
best part of the fourth game where they had him as Nathan Drake young.
Interesting.
That was a really great segment. I would love to see him kind of meet Sully and go through that whole. It could be good. It could.
Okay.
I hope it is. I know Neil's not involved. So
It would differentiate it a little bit from Indiana Jones, which you might want to get some distance from those because
True.
I'm convinced those are the best blockbuster action movies ever made ever. The Indiana Jones, other than 4, which I
Right.
pretend.
Oh boy.
We all do.
My wife had never seen them, so we were watching them, and she fell in love with them. Like they're amazing, and she's like, the fourth one, like you right now you live in this perfect state where there is no fourth movie.
Yep.
And why ruin it?
That was me. That was my girlfriend. We watched the original Star Wars trilogy,
Yeah.
which she hadn't seen, and then it was like, we're not going to watch the prequel.
Yeah, you don't need to have. Right now you have this perfect thing.
Yeah.
Why ruin it? Especially
Yeah.
with Indiana Jones, because it's called The Last Crusade.
Right.
It's the end.
Resolves everything. Like they literally ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
It's over. The end.
And they're making another one, right?
Let's not. I don't
They
want to
are.
talk about it. I
Yeah.
don't want to think about it.
It's gonna happen.
I don't want to.
Too
I
late.
know it's going to happen. Am I going to go see it?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Probably for this podcast. Probably for this podcast.
Will I see it?
Yes.
Will I like it? Who
Man.
knows?
All right. So, man, video game movies. I'm trying to think of. I brought this up. I think Witcher would make not a good movie, but a good series, and
Which, thank God,
thankfully
is
they're
happening.
doing that because it just lent itself to that.
Yeah.
I want a good Pokemon movie. I have no idea what the story is, but I want to see. I don't want to see an anime. I want to see like a live action. I know they're developing a live action.
Yeah, but Detective Pikachu though.
It's such a weird IP to pick that they just made, and then now they're
Yeah.
making it into a movie. But there's something that you can do that's really fun with them.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of the emotion that you get from the animated movies. Did you see any of the animated movies?
I saw.
Yeah. They're
YouTube
very emotional.
strikes back?
I'm sorry.
Mewtwo? Which the
Mewtwo,
first
the first one.
Mewtwo one.
Mewtwo Strikes
Mewtwo, Pokemon the movie.
Like Pokemon the movie and
then
Pokemon 2000.
Pokemon 2000 with Lugia, which I was all about.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and I just now, right at the second, realized his name sounds like Lugia.
Yeah. Oh, you never realized that? As a kid, that's always the funniest, like, yeah. Really funny. Also, the one that was really fun is the Celebi one. If you guys remember, Celebi is the time-traveling Pokemon.
Yep.
And
I have one of those now.
But the movie is, in the past, a young trainer is going out and like looking for Pokemon. He gets really injured, and a Celebi sees him, and like they like to help. So Celebi like touches them, and they go forward in time. They meet Ash and like the gang, and like it's really cool because they have retro Pokeballs, and so he has to like crank it open to get it like charged up to throw
I
it.
haven't seen that.
Cool.
And like Celebi can be used to like really fuck up nature, and it's like a really big part of nature. And you meet one of those, and you know, like Entei and those weird dog things.
Yeah.
You meet the water one, and it like really doesn't
Ice.
make
It's Ice Raccoon.
Oh, ice. Oh, I'm so sorry. But he purifies the water. That's why I was thinking. But you do get this really cool moment where, like, you want me to spoil for you?
Maybe he is water. Anyway, yeah.
You spoil it.
Yeah.
That was Professor Oak. And the kid was. And at the end, you find a picture of Celebi and that Pikachu that he was drawing, and he never finished it. So.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
They've been doing that anime forever. It's been 20
I still have the
is it
VHS
20
of the
or
first
25
episode.
years.
20. Probably 20.
20 years.
And they do take breaks every once in a while, but like, it's solid. It's still going.
Weird connection. The guy who plays Brock, I think currently is one of the voices in the new Zelda game.
Whoa.
Interesting.
I love hearing voiceover like crossovers, like Nolan North. I love hearing Nolan North and everything. Like he plays. I mean, he's Nathan Drake, but he's also Connell in Young Justice, and
he's
I really
also
like
Hal
that.
Jordan. I also want to say, somebody will correct me, that he was Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern animated series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to say he was Peter Parker in Spectacular Spider-Man, which in my mind is the best Spider-Man adaptation we've ever gotten ever, and probably will ever get.
Was that him?
I want to... Sam, look it
here we
up. Look
go.
up Spectacular Spider-Man. Sam is on the computer. Have you seen Spectacular Spider-Man?
I think so. I can't remember.
Damn good.
I watched. I binge watched all those things like a couple years ago, and it's been a minute since I've seen them. So I'm not sure which version I saw.
I was just flipping around and I came across it, and I'm like, I'll give this a try. Josh Keaton. Oh, and you know what? I'll bet you he's Green Lantern. I bet you I'm fucking it all up. Scroll down. He's Green Lantern.
Yes, he's Hal Jordan.
Oh well, they're all.
I'm a dummy.
They all do everything.
Yeah.
Some of the most talented people in the entire.
That was the
industry.
nicest segue you could have given me. Oh, they all do everything. Anyway, moving on.
No, I was just saying, like, with all of those people are like who do voice work in video games. They're some of the most talented people in the entire industry. It's amazing, and they're also the most underappreciated.
every time I like meet somebody for the first time that has no idea how voice work works, they're like, "Hey, you should really do voice work. You've got a good voice." Like, you have
it's not
no
like
idea
that
the amount
easy
of work that those people. It's not like, "Hey, you have a cool voice, do it." It's that's not how that works ever.
Yeah. I did this video essay about. It was one of my nerdiest moments. I made a YouTube video essay about the voice work in the new Zelda game because it's a little spotty, but I had to make the case in it. It's like a lot of the time when people get copy for video games, they don't know what the hell they're saying.
Yeah.
They don't have any time to prepare, and they or be another nationality, and then they are just kind of thrust into a very low-paying, quick thing that they have to figure out. And it's like, video games can have bad acting.
Especially since they have so much of it.
Yeah, and they don't because it's not going to affect the gameplay. If the gameplay's fun, that's more important. But so they don't really care if they hire people and don't give them enough time to prepare. They're just like, we just need something to work, Because back in the day, it was they would hire the the people who made the music to do the voice work. There's a great little mini documentary about Perfect Dark that's on YouTube, and they talk about how
Rare. Remember when Rare made like amazing games?
Rareware.
Now they're stuck doing the Kinect games.
Well,
Damn.
Those guys,
They still make those?
the original guys did Ukulele. That's out right now. That's pretty good.
Which one's that one?
It's a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, which is
yes. Oh, it's the little gecko thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
they
cool.
just
It's
did
very
Banjo-Kazooie
cute.
and Donkey Kong 64, which I loved.
That game was convoluted.
Listen, it was
I've never
the first
finished it.
N64 game I got, and I really liked it. Speaking of video game movies, something I would like to see probably an animated series of is Star Fox. I love Star Fox. I think you could do a cool like kids space opera with talking animals.
Well, dude, there is one on YouTube. A guy made a series on Star Fox, and it's made kind of like it's a bad recording of a 1980s cartoon.
I would love to see that.
I'll have to find it. I can't remember its name, but it's so good. It's so good.
Star Fox 64 might still be one of my favorite video games of all time.
It's perfect.
Would you be happy if you got a Fantastic Mr. Fox style animation for a Star Fox movie?
Would I be happy, or would I have my mind blown? I would have my mind blown.
Would you like watching that?
Yes.
Yeah. Just making sure.
I love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
No, I do too. I just in space is interesting.
Yes.
There's
I
a lot
would
of
love to
stuff
do
there.
the old like classic modeled spaceships and everything. What are you even talking about right now?
I have to make sure that I just have to make sure.
It'd be incredible.
I don't know what, but I have to make sure.
You have to make sure. Okay, so other than Zelda, what do you think would make a good video game movie?
You know, there are parts of BioShock that I think could work. But this is what started the conversation in the original.
We're dealing with a weird time travel situation right now.
Yeah, I think if you make it about somebody that's not the main character, that could be a really interesting
maybe
thing.
leading up to Rapture losing. It's like the third act break is when everything goes to shit in Rapture.
You could even make it about Andrew Ryan, and I think it might work.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where
it's like an evil Walt Disney like character.
Yeah.
Like there's
or
some
just a guy
interesting
who means well and just slowly spirals, you know, because there's so much groundwork for character arcs in that game.
I love the like, hey, what if we just all acknowledge, I'm going to build a civilization where we all just acknowledge that we're just the fucking best and there's no rules. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And what's scary
and
about
here's
that
drugs
is,
that change your entire being. You can kill each other easily.
and what the worst part about that is there's people that think that way, and it's like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, of course, it's all going to go terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's a genius idea, though.
I think BioShock would be a good one, but segue.
Yeah.
I have questions. For James, we have some Twitter questions.
Yes.
May I read?
Yes.
I have one here.
Jume.
Okay.
From Eddie Chase. Paraplaywright. Nailed it. What's it like being friends with What? What's it like being friends with member of the 1% Steven Subject? What did I just say? Steven Subject.
It was funny because we asked for questions for you for the interview.
Yeah.
And so many of them were Steven Subject related that it confused me.
Famous actor James Allen.
There's for those who are not in the know,
I'm one of them.
I got a goofy character arc, if you could call it that, on
We'll call it that.
old Suppy's YouTube channel, where I don't know if it demystifies it to just talk about the making of it. I don't know if
Listen,
you would
this is
like
behind
that.
the scenes bonus
Behind the
Patreon
scenes.
stuff. Like, this is, you know.
Yeah, well, it started off, and we were talking about this off camera, but there's the first time he asked me to be on it was like a quick like just reject me when I ask you a question. That's all that happened. But when I saw the video, he just entirely oversold my significance in the entertainment industry. He just like the famous actor James Allen McCune, and so I texted him and I was like, we got to go balls deep on this one. It's gonna be this whole it's this whole thing of him finding me in situations that somebody who is a part of the 1% absolutely should not be a part of.
Yeah.
So it just gets progressively worse and worse. So to answer your question, sir, it's excellent, and also can I borrow $100?
Yeah.
Please and thank you. It's Eddie Chase. Go ahead and send Venmo him $100.
$150.
Now we also have a very interesting question here from Mimi Torres, maybe _can_voice. Why is our cat such a jerk? Wait, am I allowed to ask questions? I don't know what's going on there.
Well, Mimi Torres, maybe if you didn't feed him so much fucking food and make him a fat boy,
Hey!
he wouldn't be such a jerk.
You know, I'm a big believer. I love my parents. But
We've talked about this.
Yeah, they overfeed their damn dog. Like, they just, like, every time, like, he goes outside, he gets a treat. He goes and takes a walk and takes a poop, he gets a treat. He's like, he's so fat and he's got like hip problems.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like maybe if you let him lose some weight,
Our
some of
cat,
those problems will go away.
our cat Toilet, that's his name.
Perfect.
His name is Toilet, and it's a perfect name for a number of reasons.
Go into detail about that.
He is shaped like a Cracker Barrel. He is perfectly round.
Yeah.
and he has the face of a human. And so
That's terrifying.
if he is
like a nose and everything.
somebody please do fan art of that. Yeah. He is a dreadfully overweight cat.
Yeah.
And we're going to get him a little kitty treadmill because he needs to lose weight. He gets everything he wants and he's so spoiled.
Yeah.
He gets hugs and what is an entire hamburger's worth of kibble, and it's not healthy.
No, there you go. I desperately want a dog. But before I get a dog, like I want a real dog. Like I want a dog, you know?
Oh, like a big boy.
You want some sort of wolf.
Yeah. And so I want it to be able to run with me because I feel like that'll keep it healthy. You know, it's because it's an animal and you're keeping it inside your home. And I just want it to be able to like
No,
enjoy life.
Cats can do that more, but dogs, you need.
Yeah,
like
I want a yard. Yeah, I want a yard that he can go and frolic.
Yeah.
I love frolicking.
Yeah, just a little frolicking.
And my dog, I come home and it's the regiment for him is waking up is a treat, going to sleep is a treat, and going to the bathroom is a treat, and they get a piece of someone's dinner, and it's like, why?
That is definitely a line I will never cross. You will not eat off my plate because then it's just a constant begging when you're having dinner. It's like, this is not how this shit works.
And then my parents get pissed that he begs, and it's like, you're giving him food.
It's like they don't realize it's a dumb animal. Like it doesn't know any better. It's just gonna do what works.
And clearly, it wants the better food. Who would not want the better food?
Have you seen what we have for dinner? It's great.
Comparing it, it's fucking amazing. But also, I do props to people who can make their own pets' food. Like that's like a big commitment. Like it's like mainly just chicken and rice. It's like and it's like a veggie in there. But it's like I barely have time to do that for myself. So if you're able to do that for your cat or dog,
props.
Good for you.
Yeah. No, our cat doesn't deserve real people food.
Sounds like it.
But to clarify, Mimi is my girlfriend. She's directly behind me, and she's a wonderful cat mom. She does a great job
for toilet.
Yeah, for toilet.
Toilet's just a fat fuck.
Fat
fuck son of a bitch. It's one of my favorite bits in Pineapple Express. Like, I'm sure your cat's in heaven. Maybe he's a little fucker. Maybe not. Maybe he's in hell.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a small boy.
Yeah, because you came up at a different time than I came up. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
How old are you? Are you willing to say your age? It's probably personal to ask.
It's between. It's 23.
Oh, okay.
23.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're not much younger than me.
There's the same distance between you and my sister.
What does that mean?
7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a pitch for something?
Yeah.
No. Is this a rom-com slowly
between my
unveiling?
sister? Oh, that's cool. Maybe we're like twins. Maybe we have similar thoughts. Never met her. I don't know what she's
get
like.
some rings to press together and turn into various forms of water.
Hey,
you know what? I would love. Speaking of, you're talking about Wonder Twins. I heard rings and went to video game movies. I think you could make You could. They won't, but you could make a really good Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
I try to sync up and say
It
Sonic.
would have to be animated. There was a cool Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
The Saturday morning cartoon
That's
with
right.
Sally Acorn and everything?
Yes.
Loved that show.
I loved it too.
Did you ever pick up the comics?
No.
Because they continued that story, but Knuckles got involved. And growing as a kid, Knuckles was the shit to me.
Oh my God.
Like Sonic.
Knuckles is bitching.
Yeah.
He's so fucking cool.
And so-
yeah, sorry. I have many opinions about Sonic.
Same here, because that's
go
what I
into
grew up
it.
with. I wasn't allowed to have. I wasn't allowed. My parents got me a Genesis instead of a Nintendo. I was graced with a gaming system, so I had a great childhood.
It's so funny. Everyone's like, it's Sega, it's Nintendo. It's like,
Yeah.
it's whichever you could afford.
Exactly. And so my parents at the time, their reasoning was that it looked like Genesis had more games.
Right.
I don't know how that, but Sonic was dope. Especially you got like Sonic 2 and 3, and that cartoon was legitimately, and I went back and I rewatched the first episode on Netflix. Holds up.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great show.
Yes.
I love Sonic. Sonic has been taking missteps lately
For
as
a
game.
majority of our lives.
Yeah, but I can't help but love Sonic. I'm in the camp of Sonic Adventure is fun.
Yes, same here.
I think that is probably the comic that's going to get the most hate out of all of these.
No, it's fun, and Sonic Adventure 2 is fun as well.
Except for Big the Cat. That part can go fuck right
I
off.
don't remember. I was able to, because it was weird. I didn't have a Dreamcast, so I got to play Sonic Adventure 2 when it came to GameCube.
Yeah, that's
weirdly,
good.
And weirdly, Sonic Adventure 1 came after Sonic Adventure
did.
2.
Yeah.
So I'd already played 2.
That had the Chow Garden.
Yeah.
That's when you had the little dewdrop things and so my older brother had a Dreamcast and I loved when you turn on games and you had the little screen on the controller and you'd see you'd see the little is that Chow? That's what those things
Chow,
were.
yeah.
You see the face of it for a second before you play. Is it Sonic Adventures 2 where you run down the street and it's rolling around at the speed?
No, yeah, with the truck coming behind you. Fucking
dude, yeah.
I've never gotten any farther in that game. I got to the part where you play as Knuckles and you're looking for some of the Chaos Emeralds
Yeah.
and like this like Egyptian place, and I couldn't find them all because I was like dumb little kid. I was very young playing it. I was like, and I never came back. But I always want to get a Dreamcast. I want to find a Dreamcast somewhere and find that game and play it again because I love going to the Chow Garden. You can change their colors and you can baby them and stuff.
Come over.
You have one?
I'm all over that.
Probably now you can probably download it.
Oh yeah, you can
But there's something special about the Dreamcast controller.
It's so nice. I
loved it.
But if you'll humor me, here's my pitch for a Sonic movie.
I'm thrilled.
One, adventure. Fuck having humans around. What the fuck is that about? You want
the
Sonic 06, baby.
Yeah. So what I would have is you've got Mobius and you've got the animal world. Animals are sentient, and Robotnik is actually from another planet. And he's coming to industrialize Mobius to probably harvest rings. That's probably the best. To harvest the rings for energy for his home people. And
so the Chaos Emeralds.
The Chaos Emeralds. There you go. And so it's basically a riff on industrialization and profiteering off of nature and using the environment. And so he's fucking over it's a human coming over and fucking over all these animals to make money on his home world. Ooh. And so Sonic is trying to stop that, and that's where you get and the roboticized animals are his workforce.
I got a spin-off of that for you.
Yes.
Okay, so where Robotnik's from?
Yeah.
Mega Man.
Yes.
You have Dr. Wily and Dr. Light.
Here's another reason why you should. Now, I haven't read the comics in like a decade, but I picked them up because it was Sally Acorn, Antoine, Rotor, all that cast. But then they started incorporating one of the first comics I ever picked up was a Sonic and Knuckles comic. And so Knuckles got to be a part of that. And then the Chaotix, his whole cast got to be a part of it. And they really fleshed it. But it's still the same kind of like sometimes pretty dark, fun take on that world. And they just had a crossover. It's published by Hershey Comics, and they started publishing Mega Man comics, and Sonic and Mega Man just had a crossover in the comics.
I always wondered, I was like, Robotnik has to know Dr. Light and Dr. Wily. Like, it's the same, he has the same mentalities of Dr. Wily. He's like, oh my God. Have you heard the Proto Men album?
Mm-mm.
Dude, there is a band that made an entire album based around like the Mega Man storyline.
Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
What name some of their songs?
We're getting a new Mega Man animated series on Cartoon Network. I believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, really quick, what was that band name? I have to look it up.
The Proto Men. There's a song called Light Up the Night, and it is the most bitchin' thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's so good. It's got like the 80s drums. It's so good. It's so good.
But again, you make it animated. Sure, maybe even make it CG animated.
You can make a Mega Man movie live action.
Yeah.
That would make a cool
because
movie.
that's people. Maybe Mega Man X.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. You get bass in there too. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, the wood costume. Sorry, I didn't play. I didn't play Mega Man a lot.
Well, Cutman.
Now here's the question. So you're making a Sonic movie. Do you save Knuckles for the sequel, or do you just get right to it and say maybe this is your only shot? So why are you going to wait on Knuckles?
Knuckles is the enemy in the first one.
I like it.
And then he does a Vegeta, and he comes back around, and it is like the good guy in the second one. He's like the secret weapon. Right? And it's like he was being manipulated by Robotnik the whole time, and then the second one.
There's a band called Cutman, by the way, and they have a song called Power Glove, and it's like all like Mega Man. They use Mega Man music and sound bites to like make music.
So cool.
That's why I was getting confused because when I was a kid, my older brother used to play it, and my older brother was huge into like Sonic and Mega Man and all that genre of gaming, and I always wish I could play it, but he wouldn't play it.
Speaking of old Sega games, did you ever play Vector Man?
Vector Man.
There's two games.
A little bit, but I don't know anything about them.
He's just a guy made up of green orbs.
Yeah. It was like Rayman.
Yeah, but that premise was great because humans had fucked over. It's like WALL-E if WALL-E could kick ass. Mm-hmm. Like humans had fucked over Earth, so they left robots to clean everything up. The robot that was in charge accidentally got its head replaced with a nuclear warhead.
Yeah.
And so he became super obsessed with war and destruction.
I remember that.
And he was setting it up so when the humans came back, he'd murder all of them.
I always thought that game and Earthworm Jim were somehow relative.
That makes sense to me because they looked similar.
Yeah.
But and Vector Man they were taking big barges of trash to the sun and dumping it there. Yeah. So when Warhead took over everybody's mind, he was off planet. So he came back and everybody was ready to murder everybody else.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he had to save the day. And then the second game, because you defeated Warhead in the first game, in the second game, these bugs had mutated while humans were away, and so there's just all these evil bugs that were also ready to kill humans by the time humans came back.
I would like a remake of that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, man. That's so rad.
And then what was that game in the Genesis where you played the comic book character and you had to bust through the panels?
Oh, No, I'm thinking of the 7-Up game.
Oh yeah, I played that
Do you
too.
remember that? It was basically the Connect 4, but with the 7-Up guy.
Did you play that game?
Yeah, I loved it.
Here's the thing. That's why people make these. We're like, why are they making an emoji movie? Because dumb kids like we will be like, yeah, I know that. I'll go see it and check it out and watch it.
That's
Because you played the 7-Up game.
Yeah.
I don't need to go on a rant on it because Max Landis does a wonderful job every time he's interviewed. But it's a real thing. He's 100% right about it. That the industry is in a place of incredible panic, and that's what they're doing. That's the reason the Blair Witch got made. It was like, okay, this has a built-in audience that will at least check it out. You know, they're not trying to make. I mean, it's not like they're soulless assholes. I've met the executives at Lionsgate, and they genuinely are very passionate people who just want to make good shit. But then there's also like we have to make for sure that this is going to return its cash. So it's like. It's complicated right now to make to make things. It's just so complicated.
That's one of the main sources of tension in this industry is because you've got a lot of creative people that wants to make cool shit, but the reason they're able to do it is because it makes money, and that's what gives them. It's one of the few jobs you can get as an artist. That's a job,
right?
So that means it needs to make money. That means people need to go see it. And the problem is, money making people are kind of like, well, what's the quickest way to make that money,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, well, you just put a name on it that people even vaguely recognize.
Yeah. That was the whole at Fantastic Fest last year at the Fantastic Debates, where you box and you debate.
Yeah.
Whitney and Bree fought for superhero movies. Whitney said that they were saving Hollywood. Bree said they were ruining Hollywood, and saving won because although she won the fight, but it also won because it was like that's how you get to make all the fun smaller movies.
Also, Whitney's a scary monster that could beat the shit out of all of us.
She has a black belt. Yes.
Yeah. I also have a black belt. Thank you very much.
I know, but she just kicks a lot more than you.
It's true.
I have a black belt, but it's from Walmart.
Hey yo, mine's reversible.
It's same. It's got a little brown side.
Yes,
on
it does.
It goes with everything.
It does. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing right now to make shit because it's not like people don't want to see new stuff, but they won't. It just won't, and it's a damn shame. It's awesome that we have people like Edgar Wright who can go and make stuff based off of just him and then the stars. I mean, if you look at Baby Driver, it has everyone, and that's because
in roles that can't be that big. Like it's shit. I'm fucking blanking.
You trying to name the actors?
Shane from The Walking Dead, John Bernthal.
John.
Like he can't be that. He can't be in it for that much. Like you look at everybody else in it, it's like you're going to be in 2 scenes, man. Like and he's huge right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like they need to guarantee their return. It's like why movies like Kubo and the Two Strings, which was one of the best movies of last year, and the closest we'll probably ever get to a Legend of Zelda movie.
Yes,
it's
stop motion animated Sonic movie and Legend of Zelda.
They would be amazing at making.
That'd
a Sonic
be really
movie. Cool. But I mean that movie flopped hard. And it had
so
Matthew
beautiful.
McConaughey and like all of these big people, and it's
beautiful.
one of the best movies I saw last year or whenever it came out.
Also, when they said how much money they spent on like production, I'm like, Jesus Christ! I don't even know how they're making money back from their other movies like Coraline and Coraline was
nominated every year.
They are, but it's just like they go up against Pixar. It's really hard to win against them. They're still getting investors, but I don't know how they in Kubo especially. I don't know how they did a lot of the stuff, especially the origami because that's just tiny. That's tiny little tweezers and shit.
Creatively, it's worth it. Financially, it obviously isn't, and that is killing me to see that more and more. And it's another one of those things where like genuinely talented voiceover actors are just not getting work because
you need this name talent, which is difficult because rarely are they as gifted in that arena as actual voiceover actors.
It's like for this game that I got, I booked it like right after or right before Blair Witch came out, and I trust that company. I know those are great people who only make smart decisions, but it's like I wonder if they had some idea about who they thought I was or something because of that movie, and that's why I got in there. And I hope that I hope that
feels
I
like a rabbit hole that you shouldn't bother going.
I know
down. You're just gonna drive yourself crazy.
Well, because I don't consider myself in any way, shape, or form famous or have any sort of like notability. But
wait, you're not? Oh, shit.
Right, sorry, guys. I'll see you later.
We'll delete it.
It's happened. But there's still like this perceptive thought of what being in these properties will do for someone. So it's like I wonder what that conversation looked like. Like, he's not very good, but he was in this thing, and you never know.
But on the flip side, it's weird because I feel like the industry, what little I know, is a lot like our economy, where there's like no middle class anymore. It's either movies that get all the money, or they're ones that almost get no money. But the benefit is that gives opportunity. Like I'm working on developing stuff right now, and it's like, just give me that just tiny little bit.
Yeah.
That's just that tiny little, like a few thousand.
Yeah.
I'll make a movie for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's like it's a tricky thing right now to be creative, because you have no reason not to make your thing, because there's every resource, and it's all very cheap. You can get a Wacom tablet for Wacom, I don't know how to say it, for like, $40, and you can make an entire series out of yourself in your bedroom. You can buy a GH5 and film your own film over the weekend, which we do, but there's so many people doing that. How does anyone see it? And some of the greatest ideas are on YouTube for free. And no one's ever seen them. And it's a bummer. It's hard to think about that sort of thing.
Well, it's funny when you look at a movie like Primer, where
I still haven't seen that.
Shane Carruth
movie night.
Movie night. It's a time travel movie, but he made it for $5,000.
Wow.
Because he did everything himself. He scored the music, he edited it, he shot it on film, but he edited it himself. He directed it. He's one of the guys in it. He just did everything. And it's one of those, I saw that, I'm like, I'm going to write a movie that I could shoot for $5,000. And I can't do it. I can't. Any good idea I have, it costs at least 10.
This is you know what I mean? This is the dude who he every movie he's made has been like a revelation, right?
What's his name? Upstream Color, Shane Carruth.
Yes, Shane Carruth. Yes, I've been dying to. I was researching him the other day.
Definitely watch Primer, because it is one of the weirdest movies you'll ever. That makes it sound different than it is. It's one of the best time travel movies. It's the best example of time travel I've ever seen, because it treats it in an incredibly grounded way, and even then it immediately goes off the rails. Even when you do the most practical, this is how it works, and within the story, everything becomes a jumble, because the second you're able to go back in time, everything's just a shit show. And he's friends with Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson had him on to consult in Looper, which is interesting because I don't like how they handle time travel in Looper.
Oh, it gets really, they kind of crept the bed near the end of that.
They told me not to worry about how time travel worked, and then the way it ended made me worry about it a lot.
I was just thinking,
still a good movie up until that ending for me. I don't like that.
Looper is a mixed bag for sure.
Rian Johnson is very talented, but his endings sometimes are a little too convoluted. Have you seen Brothers Bloom?
No.
Amazing movie, but the twists at the end are
which one's that one?
Dude, endings are
Two
so
Magicians.
hard.
Yeah.
I've been trying to write more lately myself, and that's the thing because you have to work towards stuff, and that's which is just the most simplified way to talk about this. But if you're gonna write anything, I want to pull your ear later and ask you about your process with your comic book stuff.
Thank you.
I would die to hear how you do this sort of thing, because writing is very new to me, and it's for people to come up with these ideas, what's the best ending you guys have seen in a movie or anything, a video game, TV show? What's your favorite ending? Ooh. I mean, without spoiling, because I know that'll be hard to do.
TV shows are a little more difficult because you have so much time to get to it. I will say the best series finale I've ever seen in my entire life is The Shield, and that pilot also has the best pilot I've ever seen. In the way that pilot ends, because it sets up hey, here's how a solid cop show would work, and then in the last 5 minutes it completely blows up that premise, and I'm but that's not the show we're making. And you're what's happening?
Okay, I gotta check that out.
For movie, what's the
Unbreakable? M. Night does a really good job of taking an ending and really just fucking with you hard. A lot of people, I think a good ending is one, I don't know, the one that gets you talking, I guess, that is still well made, well crafted. I think Unbreakable, have you seen it?
Yes, I just recently saw it. I saw Split recently too, which was so good. That was excellent. M. Night's definitely, he's a third act guy. I'm a first act guy. I'm really good at concepts. I'm very good at concepts, but fleshing concepts out, that's the thing that really fucks me.
Something that it's funny, the project I've been writing right now is I had a very clear opening shot in my brain, and I knew basically what I wanted to touch on, and I knew how I wanted it to end. I know how I want it to end.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the what happens in that middle part? Like, how do I sort through the dozens of ideas that I have to make it work until like we start here and we close here, and it's just a nice little little bow. Because for me, that's the perfect ending. The ending that you don't necessarily see coming, but is kind of perfect. And then it coalesces. Again, I can just think of a TV show. I just finished watching Justified. And the ending of that made me want to cry. And it's weird because if you watch that show, if you just watch that end scene without watching the rest of the show, you're like, I don't know what this means. But if you watch the show, you're like, they loved each other the whole time.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody said a good ending is one that is, and I'm going to butcher this, but unexpected yet inevitable.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, and I'll spend hours just sitting and thinking about that. Like, I can't.
Oh, it's a heavy one. It's a heavy quote.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a movie that had just kind of like that's how you end.
It's hard, right?
That just last little grace note that
it's an interesting thing because what's happening in Hollywood with bringing it back around with original properties like Passengers is that if they are going to make an original property, people are afraid to take chances with the ending, because what happens is your general moviegoer, like, we'll get critical and be like, that ending was bad, that ending was good, whatever, but your general moviegoer will walk away with an opinion about the movie that is based on their experience watching it. And if the movie feels good at the end, it's like, I thought it was a good movie. But it might not necessarily be the best ending. It's like Passengers, and I won't spoil it, but it almost had balls. It almost had really big balls, and it could have been really cool, and they almost did something really interesting, but they were afraid to let the audience think for themselves and to endure something hard. And so the movie went for something that was a little more digestible for your average everyday person who's just going to the movies to have a good time. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of original properties, is people are kind of they're afraid for people to have a bad time watching them.
Have you seen The Mist?
Yes.
Well,
that is the best ending. That is the best ending.
That ending is if you should watch the black and white version of that movie. It adds to it because it adds like that kind of the 1950s monster feel to it. But that ending is rough, and a lot of people hate that movie because of how it's kind of perfect. It's kind of like, it's really fucked up. It's really, really fucked up, but it works.
It's amazing.
A good example that the only one I can think of right now for a perfect ending is The Witch, because we talked about that earlier. Because it kind of summarizes everything that's happened before. It feels like the perfect way to end that movie, but then you go out being like, you wondering all the implications of what you just saw and going over the movie again.
I think that's the best way to end a horror movie.
Horror movies, I think, are incredibly hard to end, because do you end it incredibly bleak, which is probably true to the rest of the movie you're ending, or more positive, which kind of betrays what you've been building the whole time? I think good horror movies endings, The Witch, the Evil Dead remake, I think has a perfect, like, it's positive-ish. Like, all the garbage that happened still happened, but we learned a character learned something from it and now has to move forward with that. Another example, more on the darker side, is like You're Next.
I'm not a big fan. I mean, we've talked about that. I've just that movie was iffy for me.
That was Adam and Simon's first. One of their first.
I love You're Next, The Guest. I'm very excited for Death Note. I'm a fan of what they do.
Adam is. I'm excited for Death Note a lot. He's an interesting director. I'm very curious to see what he does. That trailer
gripped me. I know a lot of the fans of the anime, which I've never seen, are like, this looks like dog shit. And I
was what part of it looks like dog shit? It looks like a
cool
good
trailer
movie
to me. I was into it.
Yeah, I remember talking to him and about it before he was shooting it, because he got the okay to do it right when we started Blair Witch, and he had some of the most incredible ideas for it. And so I'm really excited to see, and it's way different from what you talked about. So I'm excited to see what he does with it. But he's one of those directors, and Simon's one of these writers who will start a movie in one genre and then in the movie making fun of that genre, sort of like winking at it a little bit. With Blair Witch being an exception, I think. And that's fascinating to me.
Let's see him make fun of anime fans, because they usually take things very well.
I hope
they are the most secure and not.
I don't think that he would. Someone's gonna like edit this in a YouTube video with the music from. Well, it's escaped me in the moments past. But I think that he respects the people watching it more too much to do that.
Now, so before we wrap up, now we've talked about a lot of movie stuff. Do you have advice for anybody that wants to become an actor, writer,
or just beat James Allen McCune.
if anybody wants to make the Santa Claus situation and kill you and take your place, do you have any advice for those people?
You gotta eat a whole lot of potato chips.
Fair.
And think about it. Just think about eating potato chips all the time, and that's
That's your
my
method.
life.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
method.
method. That's the method.
The
Yeah.
method, the James Allen McCune method.
Method.
Sitting on the couch watching Doctor Who and thinking about potato chips. No, I
Did you see this? No, you're not caught up on Doctor.
not yet. Not
You're
yet.
This
missing
is real
out.
good.
I'll hit y'all up when
Okay.
I'm all up there. But I think for people trying to get into the creative field right now, it feels daunting. I know it feels scary. I'm talking to you, sir, who's listening to this, thinking about it and worried about your future. You're in college.
Wearing flannel.
You're in film school. You're wearing socks right now. Your chin is on your knee. It's a scary time right now, and people are unsure about where things are going to go. But just make something. Go make shit. If there's one thing that I regret about my childhood, it's that I didn't have a mission. And I talked about that being a great thing, but it was also a really frustrating. It's also a really frustrating thing right now because I never learned any skills until I was in my 20s. So I'm just now learning the basics of what it takes to tell a good story and what it means to be a good actor. And I think I went into it very selfishly, because you want that. You want the Facebook profile picture, and when you get those things, and when you get your moments of glamour or whatever, it sounds cliche, but it just doesn't do anything for you creatively.
No.
It's like the reason I got into this is not because I got a pat on the back for the first time and that felt good, but because it was fun, and that's the reason I got the pat on the back. Is because I was actually enjoying myself, and man, as an actor. And I'm sorry, I'm going way longer than
Fine.
I'm very preachy about this. But as an actor, I think I often lost sight of the fact that there's a whole story you're trying to tell, and there's an entire arc that needs to be fleshed out, and it's not about you. If there are any actors out there who are in the middle of making something right now, realize it's not about you. You are a tool trying to help a story, and you're lucky to get to do that. It's the coolest thing in the world to be the hammer that drives a nail, and it's an interesting thing that I think I wish I'd started sooner. My friend John Redlinger, who directed some films that me and Mimi, who's behind us, did. Go look him up. Don't Knock the Hustle. And This Is Me. They're on the Bad and Classic YouTube channel. He's been making movies since he was in high school.
Wow.
And it's like, this dude has such drive, and he has so much talent, and he has so much skill because he just works and works and works and is constantly pushing towards something. And that's not something I learned to do until like the last 3 years. So it's important to just make shit, fuck up all the time, keep fucking up, and to realize that it's about telling a good story, not about whatever you want to post on Facebook. But yeah, I don't know if that's too preachy or
No,
think
that's
that's great.
Solid advice. And you better write that shit down, okay?
you motherfucker.
Yeah, you fucking. I see you over there.
You get what you deserve.
James, this was awesome, man. Thank you for coming on and having a really. This is like a solid conversation.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. And we talked about a bunch of video games.
Yeah.
I remember watching my older brother play when I was younger. But James, one more time, a little plug. Where can they find you?
Y'all can find me over at Jalen Mick and everywhere that it counts. I'm pointing at DJ because he taught me how to say that. It's JALLENMC on the Twitters and whatnot. I'm also on YouTube casually. Me and my best friend play video games and make weird things if we feel like it. It's called Super Stopgap, and it's not much now. We're still figuring out what we're doing with it, but yeah, you can find me doing all that sort of thing.
Very cool. DJ, anything?
DJ Talks Trash.
I'm at Sam Basher. Guys,
There
thank
it
you
is.
so much for contributing to this Patreon. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know if you want to see any other cool stuff on this Patreon bonus episode, but also look out for our movie streams, our Google Hangouts, and anything else that we throw up on there, because you guys deserve it. And
Thank you
we
guys.
love
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a hoot and a holler.
Being a part of it.
Anytime.
We made good stuff here. I love you guys. I love you, James.
I love you guys.
And we will see you guys next
Next time.
That was beautiful.